Alex, you spazzing out.
Я родился. Я родился.
Tell me your current age and birthday, and I can tell you your cardology spread. Cardology spread reading when 5 of diamonds is your result card. This will be a year of many changes for you. And as a result of dealing with your Pluto card, you may find that by year's end, you are in a much different place than when the year started. There may be a new relationship, living location, and new career on the horizon. Behind these changes, you are undergoing a shift in your basic values. At times, there may be some challenges as people and situations seem to confront you, but it seems that change is inevitable. 3, 6, 9 dimension readings.
Hey, what's up? I'm going to do a collective energy read for the week. My intuition has put me in hermit mode just to sit back and observe stuff. I'm looking to make the next chapter on dreams and all the different things we do when we close our eyes. But right now, I'm just going to do a collective energy read to see what's going on this week. What do you need to look out for in business, money, and relationships? Let me get 3 cards on business, money, and relationships. What's going on this week? Got the King of Wands, the Fool, and Five of Cups. King of Wands. Show others how it is done. You need to lead by doing. A powerful figure burns with black fire, symbolizing command of all forms of energy, role model, and independence. The Fool represents a leap of faith, the beginning and the ending of a major arcana journey we all take through life. We are the Fool, therefore the Fool archetype is about curiosity and open-mindedness, going with the flow of life and managing our way through the unknown. The figure is dancing and leaping through the air while a skeletal animal watches from below. The dancing energy represents the Fool carefree nature and exuberance for life. Upright optimism, a journey without a destination, a new beginning, curiosity, and potential. And lastly, the Five of Cups. You have a disappointment you must accept. Hidden possibilities have not revealed themselves yet. A figure reaches for 5 cups, 3 are upside down, and 2 are upright. The landscape is barren. There is more adversity than hope, but there is still some hope. Upright, disappointment, and sadness from loss. So it looks like you're taking on something new that you're good at, that you like doing. Even though you're not totally sure yourself, it's something that you're enjoying anyway. And you know you're going to learn by doing whatever you're doing, the process of doing it, doing things over and over. So you're taking a leap of faith. And you feel like it's a reach. It may feel like it's too good to be true. So that can mean that you're getting money, you're taking those assets that you get from that money, invest in something new. You know that this thing that you're investing in, you got to learn more about it still. It's like it's a process. It's not an overnight success type of situation. It's you being successful at something. It could be a new relationship, new job, new money. And all of that combined, still, those new beginnings are fun. So that's where the learning process starts. It's a new beginning, so you don't have to look backwards. And that's what that stretch is, learning not to look backwards or even think backwards or function how you used to function. And that's all I got. Hey, what's up? Hey, I got some donations for my channel for my audio-visual book documentation. So I went and got some equipment. I got a microphone and an audio interface and a tripod so I can continue doing my audio-visual book documentation. So this is just a little test, a little short read, just testing out the equipment until I get a better camera. See what we got. We got the Ace of Spears. And then this is the High Priestess in reverse. And Six of Wands. So let me read the Ace of Spears in reverse first. Ace of Spears. Now is the time to start something that will be real in the world. A single spear illuminates the darkness, planting a seed of light. Reverse, delayed, and difficulty getting started. Definitely had difficulty getting started with this equipment today, but it's all good. Okay, the next one is the High Priestess in reverse, number 2. The High Priestess represents the knowledge and enlightenment that we attain by overcoming difficulties. The High Priestess archetype is the second encounter for the Fool, indicating that we must learn how to trust our intuition, when to seek guidance from others. A female figure stands in front of a full moon with half of her body exposed and the other half covered. Her face is a swirl of black and white energy. These visuals symbolize her connection to the light and the darkness, to positive and negative energy. Reverse, gossip, bad advice, incomplete knowledge, and misrepresentation. And last is the Six of Wands. Six of Wands. Victory and success are yours. Be sure you act with dignity. A figure stands triumph as 6 wands light up around him to mark his victory. Victory and desires fulfilled. I don't know, that was kind of like a message for me, because I had a little difficulty setting stuff up, but it's a victory for me because now I can test all this out and now I can do a different type of reading. So that's all I got. I'll holler at you guys later. Hey, what's up? This is an energy read for the collective. This is a energy read for the collective, covering relationships, money, and social. Do like 9 cards. Bottom of the deck. So I'm going to read these from right to left. 8 of Swords on the first row, 4 of Cups, and 9 of Spears. Just glancing over, it looked like a lot of power thinking. Some things are in your head about some thoughts. You're in your head about some changes, but your headstrong about something. But I'm going to read the first one. I read from right to left. So the first one is the 8 of Swords. Here's the camera. of Swords. You must address negative thinking, anxiety, and self-denial, or remain trapped in a downward mental spiral. Symbolism. A female figure is bound between 8 swords, 4 on each side, representing restriction. The trapped mind. Upright, trapped, and restricted. But you also got the 4 of Cups, upright. Find some time to mediate or rest. Your emotions need soothing. Symbolism. 4 cups form a perfect balance around the figure in the middle, offering a safe container that will provide protection, upright, rest, and meditation. So that's the 4 cups. So whatever you're thinking about, definitely don't need to stress about it. 9 of Spears in reverse. Focus on your purpose and use it to attain the wealth you desire. Be your best to earn the most. Symbolism. The single spear is the product of 8 rings of energy. The energy is eternal, ethereal at the top and grounded at the base. I've been saying that word wrong. Ethereal, which is the same thing as eternal, but in reverse it means egotism and pride. 9 of Spears in reverse. Page of Spears. This is the next row. Page of Spears. Experiment. Try not to get lost in starting but not finishing anything. A figure with a single spear for a head uses the energy to light his way through the darkness. Upright apprenticeship and practice. So it's something that you need to do. It could be a new business or just learning new skills. And even just learning new skills, you got to practice at it. You got to stop worrying. You know how you may have to learn something new and you just feel like you don't have the time to learn it, or it's something that you're going to have to do. You're going to have to manage your time. That's why it's kind of like you need to chill and just kind of stop overthinking it and scaring yourself and make the time. You know, you got time to rest and you got time to learn as well. 7 of Spears. Let's see your next card. Seven of Spears. Time to consider how you will invest in your success. Put resources back into what you have that is successful and start a new venture. Symbolism. 7 spears drop from a tree, exhibiting the abundance of energy hovering over a volatile landscape. Upright, long-term planning, and dedicated persistence. So this all has to do with pretty much your work will pay off. And then you have death in reverse, which is 13. Death represents endings of the cycle and the power of regeneration. Death is an archetype, is the 13th encounter for the Fool, reminding us that life is finite. This helps us appreciate how we are doing in our pursuits of life, experience and soul growth. Symbolism: a skeleton figure walks into a tunnel which will transition her from life to death and to another life. Reverse is arrogance, depression, hopelessness, and severe grief. So it's like when you get through this fear and overthinking and panicking and scaring yourself out of learning something new, that's when everything changed. So if you're asking when, that's when. It's really how your mind functions. And the last row, you got the Five of Wands. Five of Wands in reverse. This still has to do with your fears, but let's read it. Conflict and competition are necessary to keep moving forward. Symbolism: figure battle one another as a test of strength and courage. Reverse: poor leadership and troublemaking. So some of you may be fearing competition, and this is the reason why you need to learn skills and continue learning. Don't limit yourself when it comes to transitioning to new businesses, and you can't constrict your mind into thinking, I just want to do one thing and just make the money. You do have to put the time in to learn all things. Everything doesn't just come to you. You may have the ideas and the natural ability to do something, but there's always some type of attribute that you can still learn and add on to what you're doing. And next I got the Two of Wands upright. Two of Wands. You need to choose a direction and take steps to move forward. A figure approaches two wands. A figure approaches two wands that represent the entrance to a new adventure, determination, and confidence. So when you get over the fear and over worrying, that's when things change, when you have confidence in yourself of knowing, I got to put this work in, learn this new skill, whatever it may be, or you might have to research some information, or you might have to practice at something that you're doing and keep practicing at it. That's when things going to switch up. And lastly, we got the Queen of Wands in reverse. Queen of Wands. You need to show confidence. If not, fake it until you feel it. Symbolism: a powerful woman displays her energy confidently as a beacon in the darkness. Reverse: insecure and vindictive. So that may go with the things that are in reverse. Seems that the negative thoughts and emotions seem to be geared toward worrying about others, competition, others that may talk about what you're doing. You can't let that stop you from doing what you need to do for yourself. Those distractions are eating away at your mind. You're still projecting those negative thoughts. That's why when those thoughts change, that's when things will change for you, because you're showing that you're thinking more positive, but I see the negative thoughts are kind of all aligned together in one column. and your strong thoughts are aligned straight down the middle, but your right side is strong but still worried about competition. So you have to balance this out, which you already know what the answer is. You got to put the work in. Stop complaining. Just do it. It's not going to kill you. Just do it. And that's all I got. I'll holler at y'all later. Hey, what's up? I forgot to explain the video in the background. So I was getting a lot of downloads over the past couple years, and a lot of different memories and things that I know that I have lived certain existences, because the memories and the dreams are so detailed. I'm like, this has to be a real place. And one night I was trying to relax, trying to just go over different thoughts in my head. And I was trying to figure out, if these places exist, will I ever get to see them within this lifetime? How will I travel the world to find these places? And if I do find these places, what does that mean? So as I was scrolling through YouTube, I was like, let me just find a random video to watch. And I thought to myself, in my dreams and when I go through my memories, I'm usually just walking, similar to what you see in the video. And I'm just looking at everything. And this is how my dreams look. They're very detailed. It's hard for me to tell the difference between waking state and dreaming state sometimes, because I can actually feel temperature, feel the wind blow, hear all the sounds. I'll look down, look at the grass, and I'm like, wow, this is real detail. It's almost like a virtual world. So as I was scrolling through YouTube, my intuition said, hey, pick this video. I picked the video, and instantly, as I was watching the video, I realized I recognized a lot of things in the video as this person is walking with the camera. I was like, wow, I remember this spot. I remember this spot, and I remember this restaurant. And then I just paused for a minute, and I was like, well, how is that possible? This is a video in Dubai, and I know a lot of things in Dubai are fairly new. A lot of these things have just been created within the last 5 and 10 years. So I was like, how is that possible? And internally, I realized, we don't live linear time. And also everything is also happening all at once. So when we leave a body, go to another body or go to another dimension, it could be similar. It could be different things that exist in that timeline. It's not actually a linear timeline. So when I kept watching the video, I was like, wow, I actually lived in this period or lived in this place. But it wasn't a regular life either. I was not a regular person as you would think. I was more like an X-Man. I had abilities. I could fly. I could get shot and nothing happened to me. But I remember I was living in this place. I lived in a high rise. I had a boat. I used to go down to the marina, sit on my boat, go up and down, through the reservoir to the beach. I would go under this bridge, and all of this stuff is in the video. That's what tripped me out. But the other part of the memory was, not being a regular person, so to say. I had these abilities to fly. I was in the army. There was a war going on, and everything looked like how it looks in the video, but it wasn't as many people. In the way that I felt in that life, it was totally different, because I guess because I could fly. But that's when I realized that everything does exist all at once. We can jump to these different existences. That's weird right there. But it's amazing to get your memories back and understand certain things. And I often do this when I go to sleep. I just walk and take it in, memorize it. And then when in my waking state, I actually try to find these places. So I've actually found several different places that I existed in. None of them are in America, which is odd because I've never been outside of the country in this lifetime. But I then thought about, astral projection, astral travel. This is something that I do pretty much every night. And I thought about the lives, trauma. If I existed in this particular timeline, I obviously left people behind. I left others behind. So what about those friends and family that we leave in other existences? Is that the reason why our memory is wiped clear within this dimension? So all that trauma isn't up on you? But in a way, that trauma is still with you because you project everything that you've experienced before within this world. That's what people call karmic. That's your karmic trauma or your karmic punishment. What you did in another life now is flipped and now you're experiencing it. I don't necessarily believe that because I believe that we're supposed to experience everything from every perspective. The good guy and the bad guy, so to say, you are both. There's no such thing as just perfection and you are this perfect angel. And then there's nothing wrong with being a demon as well. It is necessary to have these experiences. And it's also necessary to go through what we call trauma, because the trauma makes us question everything. It also makes the memory stay attached to where we have these experiences and make different choices and make different decisions based on trauma. So that's all I wanted to really cover is this was just a short trailer about the trauma, because I forgot to mention why I had the video playing in the background. But trauma is many layers to it. So I don't go along with what people say of, you're experiencing this because of karma, and I don't believe in punishment in something you did in another life. I think it's meant for you to remember certain things, to switch your perspective and also understand. If you watch a lot of these multi-dimensional movies, Guardians of the Galaxy, Spider-Verse, Into the Multiverse, pretty much every movie that's coming out now is people living multiple lives, going into multiple universes. But the thing that they have that you don't really pay attention to is that they retain their memory from going to all these different all these different dimensions. And that's kind of the superpower of it all. I get to retain information, which is the know, from all these different dimensions that I've existed in. And there's kind of like a basis of just knowing what is and what isn't, what is an illusion and what is a part of the experience. And it's really all a part of the experience, the illusion, the emotions, the trauma. And then that leads you to the ultimate question: what is the purpose of it all? So I'm gonna end it here, and then I'm gonna follow up with some more I'm going to follow up with some more trauma information. So I'm going to holler at you guys later. Hey, what's up? Okay, so I wanted to talk about, I don't really want to call it conspiracy theories because it's not conspiracy theories. Hey, what's up? I'm going to do a collective energy read for the week. My intuition has put me in hermit mode just to sit back and observe stuff. I'm looking to make the next chapter on dreams and all the different things we do where we close our eyes. Hey, what's up? Okay, so I wanted to talk about, I don't really want to call it conspiracy theories because it's not conspiracy theories. Hey, what's up? I'm going to do a collective energy read for the week. My intuition has put me in hermit mode just to sit back and observe stuff. Hey, what's up? Okay, so I wanted to talk about, I don't really want to call it conspiracy theories because it's not conspiracy theories.
Я родился.
Hey, what's up? Finally getting to do a video, and today I want to talk about judging, observation, and mirrors. Tried to make this video a week ago, but I kept getting all these synchronicities for me to wait. And the message for myself was to wait till I collected more information. So I finally moved. I moved to a new location, a different city. And I got a cool little park right outside the neighborhood. So I got me a cool spot to chill at, do my videos, meditate and think. But I got a synchronicity today, so I can go ahead and start. So I actually got a new phone holder for my phone, because last week it kept falling. I couldn't never make the video because it wouldn't stick. So I got a different kind of phone holder now, so I can make the video. But I wanted to talk about still how the synchronicities allowed me to look at the information to come up even with the subject. So judging, we all kind of judge, and we're taught to judge information on whether it is good or bad versus just observation. I had to teach myself how to watch lectures and take in information without judging the information. So like when I was studying the occult information, Alex de Crowley, and things like that, I got to look at it from a non-judgmental way of why they're even looking or viewing that type of information in a certain manner. Why do they dress or look or talk a certain way just because of that information? So just sitting back and observing. So I always got to give my disclaimer about, this channel. This is like an audio-visual book documentation of me telling you about my experiences. So I'm not judging other people when I say certain terms or use certain words. I'm not judging people based on their religion or whatever you believe in. I'm just basically trying to break it down in simple terms so that everybody can understand on a fifth dimensional level. I'm not really talking about on a 3D level. So if you're constantly thinking on a 3D level, not thinking outside of the body, a lot of this information you wouldn't understand anyway. So I was thinking about judging a lot, and I'm always thinking about how people judge me. Like I like to people watch and observe, and because I am an empath, I can pick up on a lot of information just by looking at people, looking in their eyes, but then sometimes I choose to ignore. I choose to ignore my intuition because you'll feel like an inner guilt. Well, I feel like an inner guilt of, I don't want to intrude on their information or personal business. I'd rather them tell me than me just automatically knowing. Some situations it is good to automatically know, and then it's the part of you that wants to just have that natural experience of learning what a person is about instead of just assuming or judging. So when I was moving to the new place, I hurt my leg. I basically kind of had I think I snapped the tendon in my right leg because I was doing too much. I was, lifting and doing too much walking, doing all this stuff by myself. And I couldn't control my right leg. I couldn't step down, and I ended up twisting my ankle. But it was like I was getting all the signs to stop walking, but I just didn't. I kind of ignored it because I knew I had to finish, moving containers and stuff. So I was just like, I got to keep going. But eventually my body stopped me anyway. So it's like for these past 3 days, I've been limping, walking slower, and it's like for me. Part of me, I don't like that because I think about how people are looking at me when I'm walking, because it's like I don't limp all the time. I might start off walking normal, and then after 10 steps, it's like the pain kicks in, and then I kind of have to limp. So I wonder if people look at me and think that I'm faking, or what's going through their mind. But other times it's like I don't care what other people are thinking. But that's like a form of judgment. And then we're taught certain things, like as I'm walking, or limping, I'm thinking, you know, no woman wants to see a man weak or looking weak, or, you know, certain things like that that come in my head or pop up in my head, like, what are people thinking as I'm kind of walking messed up? Because I'll walk in the store, and I know I'm walking slow, and I don't want to hold up people behind me, so I'm trying to walk as fast as possible, but it's kind of painful. So that's like some of the judging that we do to ourselves and how we are taught to perceive certain things, and then we judge ourselves in a negative manner. And then there's like observations. You know, you got to learn to sit and observe so you can reflect on those things that those thoughts that are in your head. And mirroring, or just mirrors. There's mirrors not only just in people, the people you encounter, people you call friends, family. Certain people can mirror your energy, and you can mirror other people's energy when you have a bond with them. Like if you're married to somebody and you've been married to them probably like over, you know, 10 years or so, you start to mirror your spouse, or each of you kind of mirror each other, where you either dress in the same, kind of behavior starts the same, you talk the same, you will pick up just certain things because you're a mirror of that person, and you have an energetic bond to the people that you have in your life anyway. People you cross paths with, your kids, your family, you have an energy bond. It doesn't just go away instantly. It's like having a Bluetooth channel, kind of, or a website, to where you're connected to everybody. But you gotta learn how this energy dissipates through observation. Like if you break up with someone, or you're no longer talking to someone, you got to observe how the energy dissipates, because it doesn't just dissipate instantly. It's not just gone away instantly. It's a process, and that process is based on how long you hold on to that energy based on your thoughts. So I had a unique experience when my 12-year relationship ended. I kept having visions of meeting a female that would be my twin soul. I always had this vision since I was young. I didn't know who this person was exactly, what they looked like. I just knew that I was going to meet them very soon. And it was all a part of my process of learning tarot. I didn't know anything about tarot. And this was my first time going to a tarot reader. I got a reading, and she told me about this twin soul, and I was going to gain all this information. And I ended up meeting this person. I knew exactly who they were. I was able to tell her our past life. I guess it was a past life, or parallel life to me. It wasn't actually in the past. This person, it allowed me to learn so many lessons at once. Let me read this card right quick, because I had one card that fell. Knight of Wands in reverse. I don't even know if you saw that. Knight of Wands in reverse. I need to learn the order of this stuff in this book so I don't be fumbling. You need to go on an adventurous quest. Step out of your routine and explore. A warrior rides a stallion filled with energy to take him through the darkness, headstrong and reckless in reverse. So let me get into my story about this twin soul, which we do have many, I guess, soulmates, and I don't use the words like karmic and twin flame and stuff like that. When you go through these dimensions, you're going to encounter replicas or variants of the same, I don't want to say people, but people from every dimension. There's still entity. That energy exists in every level when you're tied into it, and it's imprinted into your encoding as energy. So the person I was with for 12 years, and I told her this story too, like I told her that I've been married to you before in another life. In that life, she was more of a homebody, plain type of wife. I had a son and a daughter, had like the little perfect life, but it was boring to me. It was like my wife didn't do, I guess, exciting, intimate things, and that was boring me. And in this other life, it's like I had a good job, and my wife didn't know how much money I made. It was like I would take her home, but I made enough money to where I would just, go out of town and take trips by myself because I was unhappy at home. I was just bored, but I didn't want to leave my wife. And in that life, I ended up meeting someone, and that person became like my mistress. I met this woman. She was a singer. I ended up beating up her abusive boyfriend, and we had a relationship. And I bet you're wondering, like, how do I know all this stuff? This is all reoccurring dreams that are still just memories. It's permanently in my memory. But we had this life, and in that other life, I was kind of like a drunk. I was violent. I was cheating on my wife, had a mistress, but I was happy with both of the situations. And I would travel back and forth, and I would get drunk and get in accidents, and my mistress would have to get me out of jail. And I ended up dying in that life from, a car accident. And in this life, the person that I was with for 12 years was the one that pretty much did me dirty. That was, I don't want to go into detail to bash anybody, but just say that things were reversed. So I don't necessarily call that a karmic or whatever the other words that tarots use. I just kind of look at it as it is a dualism type of situation, but there's also other variants. So it was a flip for that situation. And then my mistress ended up being my twin soul in this lifetime. But she was more of a mirror for me. When I met her, it gave me so much information. I found out about my other existences, like being in spirit. I was a ghost. I was once, I guess you could say not worship, but you know how people call upon certain deities to get certain things done. I was one of those deities that did things for people in other lives. I also, when I met my twin soul, I learned to value myself because she was a mirror of me. It was like everything that I wanted as far as like family and kids and home and being an entrepreneur and love, support, and just your whole family loving you. I got to experience that for 3 months. Side note, a lot of things that I encounter within my life happen in multiples of threes, like having a 12-year relationship. Most of the relationships that I have are either 3 years, 3 months, 6 months, 9, anything that are multiples of 3. That's how situations usually happen to me. It's a synchronicity type of thing.
you know, the energies right now is crazy. Like it's sleepy time because you are Aries, and right now we're in Scorpio season, and Aries is like the polar opposite of Scorpio. So you're feeling the Mars energy too. Scorpio is Mars as well, but it's like psychological Mars versus aggressive Mars, you know, like Aries and Scorpio. So you're getting hit by that energy too. And it's a water sign, so you have a moon you have a Cancer moon, right? So it's a water sign. It's water season. Scorpio is water season.
And then it's like I've been trying to like avoid emotional people lately too, like real emotional people.
Yeah. Be very aware of trying to get, like, you're an empath, so you're going to definitely get like you're gonna feel the world. You're gonna feel the world, not just one person. Like you're gonna just be in the energy of feeling other people's trauma. You know, it's like being a rabbi. Like, you know, I don't know if you know this, but like rabbis become rabbis in their 60s, 70s years. I don't know if you knew that. There's rabbis, there's no young rabbi. Like that doesn't exist because they believe that you have to be experienced in life to become a rabbi, not just because you went to school, not because you know so and so. So it's the same thing with spirituality, like, you know, and it's the same thing with healing. And if you're not ready to embrace that part of yourself right now, that healing and experience life, and you want to rush, you're not going to be skilled or seasoned, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Have you ever came across somebody that was young that you knew had abilities, but they were kind of like using them for the wrong reason?
Yeah, unfortunately. Some people know their power and they use it to manipulate, manipulate energy, manipulate people, manipulate emotions. And they go to the dark side, right? Because there's a balance, there's light and there's dark. One can't function without the other. It's just the universal law. So unfortunately, you see people wanting to go to the dark side versus the light side, if you will, of spirituality or any spiritual gifts or powers, right? It's like X-Men, if I had to compare. There's like the villains and then there's like the heroes, right? It's a balance.
Yeah, it's like X-Men is my life in a nutshell. It's like all the stories and stuff, because I've been watching low-key, and I was just like, damn, all this stuff relates to, stuff that I know, information, quantum physics, and it's just like this season 2 is like a Loki is someone, or it's an entity, it's a god, but they were created to make others great. The Loki is always alone. They're always destined to be alone, but they're also like this jokester, and they switch from, being good and being evil, so to say. They switch back and forth. That's what a Loki does. Yeah. But they live all these different lives, and they live forever, and they have all these different experiences. And I was just like, wow. Because I like watching X-Men and cartoons.
Yeah, yes. I was watching his show on Disney. I think I watched a couple of episodes, if not more, with Owen Wilson. Yeah. And it's about time travel. Yeah. I liked it.
Yeah, because it's deep. If you don't get like quantum physics, you're gonna be lost. But it's like, to me, it all makes sense because the episodes are actually how I used to dream as a kid. So I would dream in these different layers, and I would like time slip, go to other lives, and I knew where I was at, but I knew I was going through like 10 different life experiences in one dream, and I would actually remember it. And that's kind of like what Loki is doing. He's time slipping from different years, but he still has memory and know what's going on. He's going back and forth in time. And then he's talking to somebody in the past, and then they're receiving the information in the present. And that's kind of like how you get your intuition. It's like you start realizing certain things from the past or speaking to you all along, and now you're in the present realizing what it is.
Yeah. It's kind of like Back to the Future was my first ever show or movie that had to do with time travel. And I loved Michael J. Fox, and so he came up with this movie, Back to the Future, and my brothers and I always watched that movie. Like, we probably watched it like 100 times. But it was a 3-part series. It's like part 2, part 3, and it all coincided, which was beautifully made. I don't know if you saw all 3 parts of Back to the Future.
Yeah, it's a lot of hidden gems in Back to the Future, but you got to go back and watch it, like the very first one. Yeah, there's certain synchronicities put in there. And that's how things happen. That's how kind of like the tarot works and intuition. It's these synchronicities, and it's like these things keep happening, and it's kind of, even when you don't try to pay it any attention, it's like it forces to gather your attention some kind of way. Yeah. So it's like as you go outside, you might see something or a certain color, or you see certain numbers, and then you keep wondering why it repeats and what does it mean. And then, you know, most people, they don't look, they just think it's a coincidence or deja vu, not realizing what it is.
With tarot, you specifically have to always be for me, when I read it, I have to be very mindful of not saying a time, a specific time. And so when I say this is the energy, it's either happening or it will be happening. That's up to the person that I'm talking to discern. I don't know. I don't know their life. So if that makes sense now or later, it doesn't even matter. You came to me, and, whenever it unfolds because time is linear, right? In tarot. You could go back and forth. You could go to the past, you could go to the future, you could be in the present, or other dimensions. A lot of the times when I read, whether you want to hear it or not, I see it and I have to tell them. But I try to dumb it down, if you will. Like, I have to dumb down the energy so that they understand that, it doesn't matter what this reading is about. You're going through some spiritual awakening or journey, and you have to figure this out, right? I'm not here to tell you what to do. If you want to go ahead and listen to the message, yeah, fine. That it was given to you for a reason. But there's a lot of people that don't want to go see beyond, right? The 3D. They want to be in the 3D, and this is what's happening. But do you read for yourself?
Yeah. I haven't done it lately, but my intuition kept telling me to do it. And I pulled like 2 cards last night, because every time I pull it, it's been pretty much the same thing. It's kind of like what I'm doing now, creating content, business, being sick. And even that's in my cardology too. Like, I do cardology spreads. Yeah. And cardology is astrology and tarot together, but telling you more in a relatable story-like format. So like my cardology spread for this year is based on your current age, and then you have a set of cards which are still the signs, the planets. So it breaks down the planets in a more, like I said, story based. And I kept getting the same thing, because I can read what planetary phase I'm in cardology.
Which one are you in currently?
Let me look, because I don't want to tell you wrong.
This is interesting, because I've never done that. You were explaining that to me a while back, and I was just like, never heard of that.
So I'm in my Saturn, and it starts 10/22 for me, and then that lasts for 52 days. So the next period for me will be Uranus on December 13th, and then I go into Neptune on February 4th. So like right now I'm in Saturn. So the way that I read cardology is like it's always going to be a set amount of cards for your birth date. And it's a chart. So I fill in the chart, and you have like your long range card, a Pluto card, a result card, an environment card, displacement card. But I usually just read like the general things that's in my Saturn. Like I have like a 6 of clubs, a 3 of clubs, a jack of clubs, a ace of clubs, a 4 of spades, a 4 of diamonds, 2 of diamonds, 2 of clubs. And then I basically read all the meanings of those cards in Saturn, and it applies to me. So that's what cardology is. It's like it's reading the way I read it, I'm reading basically your sun, your moon, and your rising. That's how I read the cardology spreads. Because you have a birth card, which is your sun card. You have a planetary card, which is like your moon card. And then you have a personality card, which would be your rising.
Yeah. That's your current energy right now.
Yeah.
You have to be very detached when you read tarot. When I tell people, the first thing you have to do when you want to learn how to start reading tarot is really detach yourself and set an intention, almost like a shield or a protection energy field, to kind of break that, have a boundary, right? Have this barrier, I should say, if that makes sense. So you have your energy, the other person has their energy, because the last thing you want to do is have that energy overflow, or vice versa. So there has to be some type of shield, intention setting, a prayer, if you will. Like, it's just something that will help you go into this new energy, right? This unknown energy. You can't just go into somebody's energy all nilly-willy, and sometimes, depending on the person that I read for, their energy, or their spirit guides, I should say, their spirit guides and ancestors, is pretty like, they're strong, they're powerful, right? And of course that resonates with the person that they're inhabiting, the human that they're inhabiting, right? They have spiritual gifts, powers, superpowers of some sort, because, and that's just my belief, I don't know what your belief is, but if you have like a strong, powerful team behind you, you could do it. You'll be able to do it. I just know that, you were talking about the dark and the light earlier, and people with spiritual gifts going either into the dark or into the light. That also resonates with their spirit guides and ancestors, who are their, ancient, malefic energies. They're just as powerful, but they embrace the dark.
Well, I look at it as a whole. Like, I don't separate it anymore. Like, I used to look at it that way, as light and dark, but I notice actually the light and dark is actually the same thing. It's the same entity. Like, you're seeing the opposite of each. It's like, in order to recognize something, it has to separate in order to see what it is. Just like the signs, the zodiac signs, it's, to me it's 6. And then it's split down the middle to where you can see the opposite energies of those 6 energies. Hey, what's up? Okay, so I wanted to talk about, I don't really want to call it conspiracy theories because it's not conspiracy theories. This is more or less a prediction and a package of information I'm putting together. So when I get into the story, I'm going to talk a little bit coded. So you got to read between the lines because of the censorship on this platform. So I want to get into what's been going on for the last couple years. Now, the whole world was plagued with this event, that started a couple years ago. I'm not going to mention the name of what it is. You know what it is. We're all currently living in this current state where everybody has a fear of something invisible. So I want to go into some information that I know. I'm an Aries, and if you read an Aries description, I'm not sure where you'll find it. You might see that it says that Aries likes to store random information and tidbits. Other people might say it's like autism, where you store so many random bits of information that other people don't think about, and people wonder, they wonder, why are you storing certain little tidbits of information? So when I was 17, I graduated high school early. I remember it was March, and in March, I immediately started college. I went to ITT Tech. And I remember in my class, I was taking up electrical engineering, and the teacher was telling us about LEDs. And this was in 1995. And the teacher said, we could use LEDs for everything. We don't actually need light bulbs. And you don't need electricity either. He was like, you can run LEDs off of radio frequencies. And he was like, imagine a world where you don't have to buy headlights for your car. You can have LEDs, or you don't have to buy light bulbs. You can have LEDs. And for some reason, I always just remember that. It just stuck in my head, like, you're going to need this later. So fast forward a week ago, it's July 2023. I'm at the gym. So for about a couple months, I kept noticing when I go to certain places or any places that have LED lights, I would see like these little shadows moving. It looked like flies or flying around me sometimes, or just one particular fly. And I'm looking around, and I don't see a fly. But I know out the corner of my eye, I saw, something black move. And I'm not talking about those little eye gobbler, what do they call those things? Those little things that are swimming on your eye that you can sometimes see when you're out in the sun, in sunlight. You'll see the little things, eye floaties. It's not eye floaties. So last week I was at the gym and I was on a leg press, and I did a quick, look up. But I look back down, and at the top, in the ceiling of the gym, they have these giant LED lights. So I never look at them because they're real bright, but I just blinked up, looked down, and the image of the LED burned into my retina. So I closed my eyes, and that burnt image started focusing and became clear with my eyes closed. And the shape of the LED light, it actually looked like a hand. It looked like a circle with lines going up. It looked like a neon hand. So I'm just sitting there with my eyes closed, trying to figure out, why did it become in focus or become focused with my eyes closed? But when I opened my eyes, the image was still there, but it was blurry and I could see it. And I just kind of sat there for 30 more seconds, 40 more seconds. I got my eyes closed. And I was like, let me finish my set. I could see that same neon hand image. Now it was black and it was on the wall and it was slowly going up. And this is out the corner of my eye. And I look and I could still see this image. So I was like, that was weird. That wasn't eye floaty. It wasn't floating. It was moving totally separate from how my eyes were moving. My eyes were focused on a mirror on the wall, but out my peripheral, I could still see this hand move, stop, then it moved up again. I'm like, okay, that's not eye floaties. And then yesterday, I see a video about a guy talking about LEDs emitting radio frequencies. And this new neighborhood that I live in, I noticed as I drive in this city, there were a lot of LED lights. And at night, they were purple. So I looked that up. I looked that up on the internet. And of course, there's conspiracy theories on that. And the excuse is, oh, those are just defective lights that are broken. They're not operating correctly and it's displaying purple. And I know that's not true. But I then went back to another memory before all of this planned event had happened. You know, the whole thing that had us locked in. I actually didn't stay locked in. I went outside every day and I went out at night almost every day. And the thing that I noticed is for the last couple of years now, there's been this mist, or some people might think that it's smog, that lingers and that flows in at night. And some people see it as an overcast. Like if you notice when the sun is going down, you can't actually see the stars. And most of the time there's this weird, dark, grayish overcast. And it kind of disappears once the sun goes down. Now all of a sudden you can see the lights. Most people probably don't even notice this. Some people might think that it's fog. They might think that it's humidity. That's not what it is. You're actually walking in a material which operates like a screen. So if you can kind of put one and two together, you know what I'm about to talk about. One of the things, I have a background in the food industry, distribution, and I know a lot about how pharmaceuticals work as well. So in order for me to learn how pharmaceuticals work, I had to learn about how the body, inside of the body, actually reads light codes, just like a computer. Like if you put a CD in a CD drive, it reads a certain bandwidth of light and it sends back information. That's what the body does. So when you put crystals, which that's what pills are, any liquid, most liquid medications are a liquid crystal. Pills are crystals shaped into the form of a pill. They might be encased in a coating that passes the digestive system so that it can be read within the large intestines. So the things you eat can reprogram your body, reprogram your eyes. Then you have a base, which is like a screen. Then you have devices that have radio frequencies that transmit and can also pick up. So you're surrounded by devices that transmit light vibrations, frequencies. And then I was able to put one and two together. Oh, okay. This is how they do the UFO thing. Because I kept wondering, like, how are they gonna, fool the people with UFOs and aliens? And we have all these 4K cameras and phones. Then I did some more research and I found out mostly all cell phones have had AI on it for years. AI that corrects images, insert images. I've taken pictures, video, audio on my phone and had certain things removed from my phone that I didn't even delete. I think if you look up the Samsung phone and look up the moon thing, you'll see how they artificially insert a clear image of the moon into your phone if you take a picture of the moon. So I was like, wow. And then I went into the mode of, I don't want to play this game of conspiracy theory. Even though I like doing puzzles and games, and I realized this dimension is a game, I got to the point of, I don't want to participate in this particular game. It's getting old of me trying to figure out things and validate information. I could do that every day, all day. And when I look at certain people around me that, you know, they get sick and they take these tests, and it's weird because we actually have books and information available to the public that tells you that none of this is real, but yet I still see people every day getting sick, living their lives based on this information that is told to you. And like I said, that's cool. Everybody has to go through their process. That's their life. That's their universe. But what about us that just sit back and watch? We sit back and watch this movie in this dimension. And then we're in some ways forced to participate sometimes. And that's where I'm at. I'm kind of like, I don't want to be forced to participate in this movie, in this video game. And part of me, you know, my intuition is like, you know, just, you can speak about it, but then the ego kind of goes, man, you really are smarter than everybody else. You pay attention to a lot of different things, and why try to help people? You know, what's the point? You know the information, so keep it for yourself. That's how the ego kind of talks. So I've been thinking about both of that, the intuition and the ego, how I view things, these conspiracy theories, and it's just like, wow, it doesn't even matter, because right now I've been going through this phase of my timeline has been changing so dramatically. I just had an incident last week where I was watching the Barbie trailer, and the lead actress in the movie, in my timeline, that is not her current name that she has right now. That is not who I remember her being. Her name was different. It was closer to like Presley or Presley, her last name. And I went on Google trying to find, like, did she get married? Did she change her name? Because that's not the name I remember her as. Because I remember a lot of her movies. She has a very unique look. And then I was just looking at everything around me and the interaction of people. And I'm like, wow, my matrix is actually changing. So since my matrix around me is changing, why keep feeding old thoughts or old ways into the old timeline? I'm trying to figure out this new timeline that I'm in. So I basically told that story to say this, you know, I realize how distracted people are with all these distractions and fear tactics, to where you don't pay attention to subtle information, like information about LEDs, information about the body. And it's not just information, it's just like, pay attention to the things around you. How often do you actually look up or look at the sky or pay attention to clouds, how often do you pay attention to realize that there's no birds? You know, as a kid, I used to just go to the playground, you lay on your back and you watch the birds basically swim in the air. You will see all these clusters of birds were like this mass, and they would just make all these shapes and turns. It was just amazing. And now in 2023, I haven't seen that probably since I was 10, maybe 11 years old. So it's been about over 30 years since I've seen, you know, flocks of birds and clusters of birds flying. It's been about 30 years since I've seen real clouds. And to be able to look up in the sky and see all the different layers of the atmosphere. As a child, I even checked this on Google too. When I was around about 10, 11, I remember people used to gather behind my house on the 4th of July. Behind my house was a school and a schoolyard. And I think when I checked it, my house was about almost 10 miles away from the St. Louis Arch. And people used to gather up there to watch the fireworks 10 miles away, to look at the fireworks in downtown St. Louis. And it was clear and it looked close. It didn't look like it was 10 miles away. But if I go to that same location today, you can't even see downtown St. Louis from that point. I believe it was about 8.8 miles when I looked on Google. And you can't trust Google either. So that's why I averaged it out to about 10 miles. So I was like, wow. I used to be able to see that far and see clear and see the buildings and see the arch and see the fireworks and see the whole display from 10 miles away. And it would be carloads of people parked up there watching this same event. So I was like, wow, things have really changed. So how often do you pay attention to this timeline and the things around you to even be aware of what reality is? It seems like most of the people I run into, they just believe what they're told. They don't actually think for themselves, or they're not able to teach themselves things. They have to be taught. You know, if they want to learn a subject, they're like, hey, I got to go take this class. And there's nothing wrong with doing that either. But I don't see people making an effort to actually learn on their own. And when I do find people like that, I kind of gravitate towards them. I like thinkers, critical thinkers, people that are logical, people that are aware. That's the type of energy I like to be around. So I want to leave you with this. You know, I've said this in another video too. Just take 7 days, every day, look up at the sky, different times of the day, in the morning, afternoon, and at night. Don't listen to what I say, but just observe. You take your own notes of what you see. Learn how to silence the mind. You know, don't watch TV, don't watch the news. Don't listen to social media. Just see how long you can just chill without listening to something. It's very hard to do. And try to do a whole day of just silence. That's one of the things I did, was got some noise cancellation headphones, put them over my ears, pressed it down so I couldn't hear anything, and just spend my day like that, just to silence my thoughts and let the true thoughts come through. So I'm going to end it on that note, and I'm going to holler at you guys later. Hey, what's up? I forgot to explain the video in the background. So I was getting a lot of downloads over the past couple years, and a lot of different memories and things that I know that
Goodbye.
Hey, what's up? I'm gonna do a quick energy read. My energy is real low, so I don't feel like talking, but I'm gonna do an energy read because I'm supposed to be making videos about dreams, but like I said, whoa, snap, my energy is real low. Okay, I got 3 cards that kind of fell out. I got the 8 of Wands, the 7 of Swords, and the Queen of Spears. Let me put them in the order I just said. So the 8 of Wands. Be focused and intense. Let nothing distract you from your goal. A figure races down the path with a clear energy trail, lighting the way so he can run at top speed, upright, intensity, and drive. And then the 7 of Swords. Time to take your ideas and thoughts elsewhere, and you may need to do so quietly and secretly. A figure holds a sword behind his back, either stealing it or keeping it secret. The remaining 6 swords make the disappearance of one harder to notice. Upright, secrecy, and stealth. And then the last one, Queen of Spears. I don't think that's going to be the last one, but get your life in order, review your finances, and make sure all important legal documents are in place. Assess your material life and fix anything that needs attention. A woman with intricate energy flowing through her head into the darkness above meditates on the spear approaching her. Upright, stability, and necessity. So far, what I got is, if you come into any money, new job, or anything, just kind of keep it to yourself. You don't have to share it, because this allows you to move more stealthily or get things done. Like, you may get some money and you want to invest that money into something. You don't have to tell anybody what you're doing. You don't even have to tell anybody that you came into this money. Especially nowadays, it's like you want to see who treats you differently, because you know if you start telling people your business and your information, they view you differently and then start treating you differently. So as much as you probably want to tell somebody, keep it to yourself. You can at least wait until you get things situated for them. If you get some money and get a new place, don't tell anybody till you get the new place. Don't say, hey, I got some money now, I'm gonna go buy a mansion. You don't have to tell anybody. Just keep it to yourself. Just invite them over one day. Hey, I wanted to invite you over to a party I'm having. Give them the address, and make them think you rented the place. I don't know. Let's see what else. Sorry, I'm hitting the microphone. I got the Wheel of Fortune. So that goes into it also. So you're probably going to get a lot of money. Then I got the 8 of Spears. Use your skill and experience to improve your financial status and your security. A powerful figure expertly juggles 8 spirits, showing his mastery of the process, upright craftsmanship, and expertise. So that's the reason why you don't need to tell anybody what you're doing. It's just become good at what you're doing or whatever you want to invest in, and then let it show for itself versus trying to tell. Because I think if you tell people, they think you're bragging, then you're going to have other people plotting on you, becoming your friend or want to be your girlfriend or something just because they know you got this money. So chill out on that. 3 of Cups. And this one is in reverse for a reason. Gather your closest friends and celebrate something, anything. 3 cups form a small pyramid while a single burst of light hovers in the distance. It shows the way through the darkness. Reverse, overindulgence and discord. So definitely don't overspend. Don't think that because you have this new money that you should be out spending it on everybody else just to show them that you have this money. So don't think in that way either. Now you can help people, but do it because you actually want to, and it doesn't have to be an overindulgence type of situation. Let's say you come into some money and a family member wants to borrow some money. Don't do it the same way as before, as people in the past, just giving the money. Think more creatively. Create a business, a LLC for the person that needs the money. Or try to figure out something that generates the money instead of just giving somebody money. Like they may need money to save their house or something like that. Figure out a business that you can create so that if you do have to help somebody out, how can you generate it back and then not be them actually borrowing money? How can they help you with your business to help you generate money, and this is their way of paying you back? Think outside the box. The last card I got is the 2 of Swords. I'll make this the last one. Be at peace with your decisions. Do not look back or revisit decisions that brought you to this point. 2 Black Swords provide balance for a figure that relies on them for support. And then reverse, self-deception and obstinance. Obstinance, whatever that means. Now I gotta look up and see what that word means because I do not know what it means. Obstinance. Obstinance is a characteristic of being impossibly stubborn, like a bull that won't budge. Obstinance keeps people from going with the flow. So there you have it. So yeah, newfound money, but don't be stuck in your old ways of doing things, thinking you got to show out or tell everybody that you're doing good and for them to respect you or accept them into their social circles. Don't even do it that way. And then if somebody does need to borrow money because of this new influx of money that you have, think of it in a new way. Don't go, here's the money. Just say, hey, you need help with something. Okay, let's think about a business that we can create that'll generate some money. I'd rather invest that money into a business so that it generates money so you don't have to borrow money anymore. Do things like that. And that's all I got, and I'll holler at you guys later. Hey, what's up? Okay, I'm gonna do another reading, an energy read for business. What should empaths do right now? As far as business, things are still hectic. Yo, this has like been a weird December. It's like everybody knows that we're in this weird inflation, food is expensive. And I want to know, has anybody else noticed that the food that you regularly get at the grocery store, has the size of the items been shrinking to you? For example, if you get a certain type of cookie brand, have you noticed that there's less cookies in it, or that the cookies are getting smaller? If you get pizzas, I've noticed then that like everything has been shrinking. I wish I would have took pictures and documented, but like if you go to pizza places, I guess I can't say any names, but if you get takeout pizza, the pizzas are getting smaller, but they're still being called medium and large. If you go to the grocery store and get items, especially items in the frozen section, like the weight of the item might be on the packaging, but if you go home and weigh it, it's not going to be what it says on that bag. I guarantee that. So it's kind of difficult to figure out what you want to do with all this inflation. There's new laws coming in 2024 that affects LLCs. So even how you conduct business will be different. And you want to know what you should be doing. Let me see what this card is. Got the sun. This came out previously. So whatever you want to do as far as business, do it. With business, things are trial and error. Like you have to go into it. You can't be in your head afraid to do certain things, even though you're worried about what other people will say. It's not about what they say. It's about what you do. You taking the initiative, because I don't want to say risk, because you're not actually risking anything. You're always learning when you're like an entrepreneur. And it's better to learn firsthand doing it versus books and somebody else telling you what to do. Because you might want to open up a Caribbean restaurant. So, but you want to do it a little bit different than everybody else. Figure out what you need to do to start the process. If you're a tarot reader, I believe this card is for you. The Hanged Man upside down. What is that? 12. The Hanged Man represents knowing sacrifice when we realize we must accept a short-term difficulty for a long-term gain. The Hanged Man archetype is the 12th encounter for the Fool. It shows the importance of devotion, surrender, and sacrifice as ways forward, which are just as powerful as the willfulness of the Chariot lesson. The figure hangs upside down from a structure so he can see the pure light of universal power and knowledge. He realizes his small place in the vastness of the cosmos. Reverse helplessness, impatience, confusion, and selfishness. So you're confused on it. Me, I was confused on it at first because I don't read cards like everybody else. I read them intuitively. I still read the book, but I also look at the cards and I pick up messages. As I'm shuffling the card, I can receive messages. So whatever format that you want to do, you should do it. It's not about copying somebody else, because when I first started watching tarot, people be like, hey, I'm finna do this spread and I'm finna do this type of spread. And I was like, dang, I got to learn how to do all that stuff. No, and then I realized I didn't. I have to listen to my own intuition. And that's something you have to do. So I think you're probably caught up looking at other readers and trying to figure out how to be like them. And that's not what you should be doing. You already have your own special gift. That's what the sun is. You are already unique on your own. And another thing I'm discovering is, man, I gotta have something on when I'm doing these reads, because I feel blank. Like, now I understand why certain readers have like music in the background. And like, I want to turn this other movie up. Like, I gotta have some other type of sound in the background, because it's like when it's too quiet, I'm not picking up all the information. That's just me. So that might be something that I start doing, since I can't play music in the background because of copyright stuff. The High Priestess 2. The High Priestess represents the knowledge and enlightenment that we attain by overcoming difficulties. The High Priestess archetype is the second encounter for the Fool, indicating that we must learn how to trust our intuition and when to seek guidance from others. A female figure stands in front of a full moon with half her body exposed and the other half covered. Her face is a swirl of black and white energy. These visuals symbolize her connection to the light and the darkness, to positive and negative energy, upright, divination, wisdom from experience, insight, and counseling. And that's what I'm going to start doing. What I need to start doing is my videos on dreams. I just need to just get in and just tell my stories. So instead of trying to teach in the dream portion, whenever I post these videos, I'm probably just going to tell them as stories. This could be something that you do with your tarot reading. Just speak from your experience, because I think your story is more valuable than just trying to read zodiac signs. Because that was something that I was never really drawn to. I was never really drawn to, like, let me read for water. And sometimes it'll come to me that, you know, read these for water signs because I'm feeling a lot of emotion, or read this for fire signs or air signs because you're thinking about this, or you're grounded about that. So read earth sign. Whatever the reason that you read, follow your intuition. Share your story, share your experience, because that will be more down to earth than trying to copy another reader. Just be yourself. And that's what I do. I like to create the visuals for the videos, even though it might be something simple. To some, it may seem silly or stupid, but to me, it just, it's a part of expression. Let me pull one more and then I'm out of here. So what should these intuitives do about business besides just getting started? Anything that they should be concerned about besides just being themselves, not copying? Is there anything else they need to know? You know, what's the hesitation for? See what the hesitation. The Devil, 15. The Devil represents consequences we face as our choices become more and more significant the further into life we travel. The Devil archetype is the 15th encounter for the Fool, teaching us that we are responsible for our lives and our choices. If we make selfish choices that harm others, we will not enjoy the outcomes. A dark figure walks the land searching for souls to collect and corrupt. The moon has a dark energy around it, indicating the negative influence of the figure: upright self-interest, temptation, consequence, and choice. So if you do want to get into reading, make the good choice just to read what you see versus trying to give everybody a happy story, or because I get a lot of negative reactions from people when I give them intuitive messages, because they say I'm blunt or bluntly honest. And even just saying that, you're looking at truth as negative. They put these adjectives on telling the truth, but they try to spruce up lies or fluff up how people describe lies. So for me, I just tell it like how it is in a simple format versus trying to create a pretty picture. And I don't hesitate on negative things. Like the negative thing within this read, some might say is why are you trying to be like somebody else when creating your business or doing tarot? Be yourself. That's as simple as I can put it. That's not a negative thing. I'm not being brutally honest. I'm just being honest. That's what I see. And I see like your vision of things, your perspective of things is unique. That's what makes it interesting. It's like you have your own style. And you're rooted in your style. And that's what leads people to you. So that's all I got, and I'll holler at you guys later. Hey, what's up? I want to talk about cardology. Cardology was introduced to me a couple years ago, and this was after I had received my first tarot reading. I had got a personal reading where I went to the person's establishment. They did a reading for me, and I left amazed, baffled, feeling a lot of different ways. But then I started feeling mad, like, how does this person know all these things and I don't know these things? How is that possible? And I was trying to figure it out, and someone introduced me to cardology, where they kind of explain where, playing cards are used to explain these numbers that are assigned to you, and it's basically taking the astrological meaning. It's like astrology is the top tier of it all. With astrology comes numerology, which comes tarot reading as well. It's like explaining the energies. So with cardology, it's taking the numerology and the energy readings, combining it to where it defines it in these planetary cycles. So what I do is I usually give people yearly spreads, which allows them to see what's going on from each planetary cycle and then apply it to their life, to where they can see, what's happening, what's going to happen, what type of people will be testing them. What would their business or money be like? What would their relationships be like? But my purpose of kind of studying cardology is to prove that we are in a simulation, so to say, because astrology explains this astrological, well, multiple stories that are playing out based on the movement of the stars. But at the same time, those energies affect everyone within this dimension. And then you have certain individuals, which are usually celebrities, not all, but some. Most of the time, these celebrities are playing out astrological stories as well. We can see when certain stories happen in the news that is also an astrological story. So if these stories repeat constantly based on where you are born and the time you're born, and that energy cycle is assigned to you, that made me equate to, okay, there's an already written pattern. Doesn't necessarily mean that we have to follow that pattern, but why does that pattern or that program even exist in the first place? So with cardology, the stories are more relatable to where you see it play out more realistically. Sometimes the astrological meanings or explanations are so big and so grand, there isn't really a variation of how it can happen to you. And you might think, well, that's never going to happen to me, but it's probably going to happen to you, but on a different variation, a different level. And that's where cardology kind of comes into place, where it can kind of tell you what type of level of energy you're going to experience. So when I do a cardology reading for someone, I'm usually looking at their birth card, I'm looking at their planetary card, and their personality card. For me, this is kind of like looking at tarot when you look at your sun, your moon, and your rising. So it's like the cards you're born under, what cards you act like, and then it's kind of like your emotional state too as well, which would be kind of like your moon. And when I do these yearly spreads, they're usually over 60 pages long. It's a PDF file. It takes me a while to do. Sometimes it might take me a week, 4 days or 5 days to do, because I'm typing up a lot of pages. So it's like a PDF file that you can keep throughout the year. You can keep looking at it every time you go into a new cycle, planetary cycle. You can look and see what's going to happen, kind of reflect back and see, validate what has happened, what got you in that situation. So it's kind of like it allows you to look ahead, and even when you look backwards, you can kind of correct yourself in the present as well. So to me, it's better than kind of doing a tarot reading. The tarot readings are kind of like, telling you the energy, but the cardology is going to give you way more in depth of what that energy is, whether it be a job, moving, finances, relationships. It's going to be more detailed, and it gives you a real window, because these energies are happening in between these planetary cycles. So you can look at the date and see when these energies will affect you. So I'm just going to pull one card, because I didn't really want to do a energy read. I just kind of wanted to talk about cardology. And then I got my new computer, so now I'm back up and running. I'm able to do my videos. I can edit better now. I can edit faster. What else? I gotta start all my music and everything back over again, but that's cool. But yeah, this is just a quick video, kind of just talk about cardology. I'm gonna post other videos because I don't feel like talking about it. Basically, I don't want to sit here and talk for hours about cardology, so I'll just make some short videos to kind of explain it to those that don't understand what it is. Then if you want a cardology read, it is for current age to your next birthday. The turnaround time on it is about, like I said, a week, maybe less depending, but it's usually I'm typing over 60 pages, and it's a PDF file you can keep. I'm doing it at a cheap rate because of the time that it takes to do. It really is costs way more than what I'm charging. But I wanted to do enough for people to where they can see these charts and kind of share it with other people and see how it helps them out. So I'm just going to pull one card and see how it applies to getting a cardology read. The Tower in reverse. Number 16. Why is it so hard for me to find it? The Tower represents sudden, unexpected change that makes something we have built over time and rather quickly forces us to start over or reset. The Tower is the 16th encounter for the Fool, teaching the lesson that life is a constant and at any time it can be blown up, forcing us to make unexpected adjustments. Symbolism. Figures fall from a monolithic structure as energy rips through the atmosphere around the tower. So upright in reverse, it means the same thing. Unexpected change, sudden catastrophe, and traditions failing. So that's kind of the same thing a cardology read does. It gives you both aspects of doing something as well, where a tarot read is kind of just like the energy, but the cardology read kind of gives you both sides, because there is a dualism to everything. Because, you know, even though we're told that there's 12 zodiac signs, it really isn't that many. It's 6, but it's doubled. You know, for every sign there is an opposite sign, but they are the same sign. It's just that the energies are flipped. So it's like when you start learning that all these different modalities, anything that is division is just dividing from something that is a whole. So, you know, these modalities of tarot reading, cardology, numerology, they're only divisions of something, of a whole program. So it's not about trying to get all your information from one modality. It's more than one. And that's all I got. I'll holler at y'all later. Hey, what's up? This is an energy read for Geminis. So this is for the witches and wizards, the empaths and psychics that have ability to manipulate energy, vibrations. I'll probably leave that one out. So for many of you, you know, like that are wizards, that are music producers, DJs, or somehow involved with music. You also might be involved in making videos. The witches, you might be involved in helping many different people with different personalities, people in different situations. The witches also might have the ability to manipulate the mind, pull out the shadow of others, and those psychics too that are Geminis, that are able to see multi-dimensions at once. So when you're trying to explain what you're seeing, it's hard for others to really understand what you're saying. So this is an energy read for the Geminis. What's coming up, what you need to know within this month. A little bit of next month also. Let me see. Do one more. Let's see what this one is. The King of Swords in reverse. King of Swords in reverse. You oversee the decision and do not need input from others. Make your choice and inform everyone else once you have decided. You may be called to negotiate a dispute. Reverse, intimidating, and argumentative. So what could be argumentative? What could be coming up that the Geminis need to know about in making this decision? Nine of Spears. Focus on your purpose and use it to attain the wealth you desire. Be your best to earn the most. The single spear is the product of 8 rings of energy. The energy is eternal at the top and grounded at the base. Financial independence and empowerment. So far, you got the King of Swords. And the Nine of Spears. What can you tell me more about this decision? Tell me more about this thing Geminis need to know. What do Geminis need to know? Oh, almost lost half the cards. So it must be a lot. Let me see. 8 of Swords. You must address negative thinking, anxiety, and self-denial, or remain trapped in a downward mental spiral. A female figure is bound between 8 swords, 4 on each side, representing restrictions and the trapped mind. Trapped and restricted. So this Knight of Swords, the King of Swords reverse. This decision that you got to oversee, you're probably going to have to negotiate the terms of this decision. Because you may be fearing certain things, or it's like you think that this decision is intimidating that you have to make, or you might think that it's too much for you, but you're already grounded in what you're doing. So it's like you're already grounded in whatever it is that you may do, and this decision that you have to make. Like you're already rooted in that energy to show people the light, so to say, the other side. Or somebody might be going through something and stuff that you can help people with, It might be something that you think you're not qualified for, but you are. So it's like you're thinking about it, worried about it, but you really shouldn't. You shouldn't be, indecisive or tripping off this decision that you got to make. That's all I got. Just a quick one for tonight. I'll let y'all later.